Hello, I decided to stay overnight at Talliston, which is a magical place in Essex. If you don't know anything about it, I'm going to put the website in my description. Each room is decorated like a different era and there's a story to it all. I brought my laptop. I'm going to finish my children's book. Cheers! Spooky trees. I've stopped probably for the night. It's actually very dark here, and the thing about this room is that it was called the haunted bedroom. Of course it's not really haunted because the whole thing is kind of fantastical, but it still feels quite spooky. I mean, it's not really, because it's all kind of created atmosphere, but I've been listening to, I found a series called Ghost Story on BBC Radio, and I've just listened to A Little Place Off Edgware Road by Graham Greene, a reading of that story, and also Laura by Robert Aikman. So that's probably not helped. I'm quite spooked at the moment, but it'd be good if we went to go and have a little explore. It's very atmospheric. The two guys who own the place are currently in the kitchen and they're sort of going over plans, and I just popped down there and made myself a cup of tea and said hello, and they're very, very friendly and welcoming, but I just get scared all the time on my room. It's supposed to be a haunted room in Scotland in the 1800s. That's a secret toilet. There's a mirror. I'll be writing, which is supposed to be a study in New York in the 20s. So obviously I've set my laptop up here. I was quite curious about this. It was called There Is No Death, Florence Marryat. So I just wanted to see what this was. Psychic book. Psychic book club. I wonder when this was published. What edition is this? First printed 1917, reprinted 1920. And then again 1938. So, okay. Ooh, spookies, family ghosts. It has been strongly impressed upon me for some years past to write an account of the wonderful experiences I have passed through in my investigation in the science of spiritualism. In doing so, I intend to confine myself to recording facts. Right. Etiquette for everyday life. Folsham. Things for attention in speech. If we examine the reasons for correctness in speech, we find once more that it is because we have consideration for others. We desire to cause them no annoyance or inconvenience by sounds that offend them or make it difficult for them to understand us. The best guide is to listen to well-educated persons and imitate them. The aspirate. One great difficulty that is found is the proper use of the aspirate, the initial letter H. When used, it should not be forcefully sounded, as though to impress others with your knowledge. Let it be pronounced easily and clearly. Yes, get rid of all of your regional nonsense. We don't want any of that. Ejaculations. Do not use expressions which are practically meaningless or profane. My hat, oh law, goodness me, by Jove, what ho, loads of time, and many others which will readily recur if one thinks for a moment. I feel a bit like I'm visiting a Victorian friend's house. I'm reminded of the fact that people didn't have easy access to light for a very long time. It gives you a kind of insight into how things must have been. So I was hoping to get my children's book actually finished and sent off to my editor today, but that has not happened. However, I feel like I'm making real genuine progress on it. I've been kind of too scared to get to the next editing phase for a long time, for a few months actually, which is bizarre because I've never had that before. Usually I'm very kind of, no, it needs to get done, get it done. I have been a big sort of believer in just sort of ploughing ahead and not experiencing writer's block or even with editing. But I think perhaps it is like a fear of getting this one sent out to agents and it's still not getting anywhere, if I'm totally honest, because it's been quite a while and I've had a few things published, small press, but I feel like I've been building myself up to the point of sending it out to agents, and I think I'd be quite upset if this one didn't get anywhere still. But you have to try, and if you don't try then you never know, I suppose. Oh, well, that was that. I'm going home now. Breakfast was lovely, the table was lovely. I was a bit chilly in the night and I put the main blanket on and it was like a hug. So yes, jolly